Welcome to my lower body warm-up. This drill is something that I include prior to my lower body workouts. And the purpose of it is to warm up the muscles you're going to be using, also to mobilize the muscles and the joints, and also to activate muscles too that you're going to be using as part of the workout. So as part of this warm-up, there's a combination of dynamic flexibility and activation movements to really prime you for your session. My suggestion for you would be, rather than try and remember every single individual movement here and then try and recreate it, would be simply to take this video to the gym with you and to use it, follow it whilst you're doing your warm-up and get you ready for your session. I'm going to go through the entire process, every single aspect of it in real time, so that you can literally just follow me along and copy each step to ensure that you're warmed up and primed for your training session. So we're going to start with leg swings. So this is a dynamic flexibility movement, and it's going to be sort of working the hamstrings and the hip flexors, or helping to increase flexibility there and get the blood going as well. So we're going to be doing 12 on each side. And we'll be doing 2 rounds. Okay, so that's the first one. So that's one side down. We go straight onto the other side. And on these, you're coming up nice and high, and you're also kicking back as well, so that you get a stretch in the hip flexor on the way back. On these, try not to move your body too much, so you're not doing this movement. You want to stay nice and upright so that you're really getting that stretch. Okay, and then last one, so we're back onto the other side, and we'll do another 12. Okay, there we go. So that's the first movement done there. If you do have time to do a little bit of cardiovascular work before, just to get the heart rate up and get the blood flow going, then a few minutes on the bike or something along those lines can be a nice little addition to this as part of the warm-up. But naturally, it adds on to the time of the warm-up. So if you don't have time, you can get straight into this. Just don't start too aggressively. Start, relatively gently, and build up to a more full range of movement, basically. Okay, so next up, we're going to be really trying to open up the hips, so we're in a really good position, so we can, exercise with good form, basically, and really get a full range of movement by opening the hips up. So we're going to go on to this movement. So beat hands down into this position here. Okay, so the next movement I'm going to be doing is a variation on the glute bridge, and this is really to fire up and activate the glutes. On this particular variation, you're going to have your heels together, and they're going to be tight into the body. Okay, so having the heels in tighter means you're going to get more glute activation, less hamstring. Also, by pushing the feet together, you're also going to get more glute activation. And on this, we're going to do 2 sets of 15 reps. Okay, first set done. So we just take a few seconds before then you get into the next set of 15 reps here. Okay, done on those. On to the next movement. Okay, so the glute activation is done. Now we're going to do some VMO activation. So VMO is vastus medialis obliques, which runs on the inside of the knee here, and it will help to support your knees whilst you're training your legs, basically. So on these, it's just a slight flex in the knee, and just follow me around the various angles, okay? We're going to do 2 rounds. So we go out in front, out to the side, to the back, behind that leg, and then out here. So that's one set. We're going to do the same on the other side now. So we're going to go front, side, rear, behind, in front, and then another round. So in front, to the side, to the rear, behind, and then we'll be back onto the other side. And another 2 rounds here. And then lastly, I'm back onto the original side. Okay, so that's done for that one. Next up, we're going to go into a dynamic lunge and hip flexor stretch. So for this position here, you're going to be starting, your feet are going to be hip width apart, and you're going to be doing a reverse lunge, like so. But as you come back, you're going to be extending up and through, and this will help to create a hip flexor stretch. I'm going to go 8 reps on each side. And we're going to do one more round of that before we go on to a little bit of foam rolling. The foam rolling can be included if you have time. If you don't have time, you can skip that section and move into your session immediately. Oh, there we go. Okay, nice and warm after that. You'll definitely feel the heart rate going a little bit, and you're going to feel really good sort of circulation and blood flow in the legs as well. Okay, so next up, going to be taking the foam roller. And like I say, with this section, you can squeeze it in if you have time. If you don't, not to worry. You can try and get this in at another time while you're watching TV or, another point during the day. So what we're going to do is, starting, we're going to have the toes pointing straight down towards the floor. So it's really going to be working through the center of the quads. And we're going to do 10 rolls, so 10 full length rolls. Okay, so now we've done 10 in the front position. We're going to come into the side position for 10. So on this, to ease the pressure, you can use the other leg just to take a little bit of the load, or you can go all in on the IT band with the roller on the side. What I would say on this one is I like to come in slightly on the underneath the IT band, so coming in slightly from behind it. And I just feel that gets in there a little bit better and helps to release it and, get it loosened up essentially. And again, we're doing 10 rolls on each side for these. So that's side one done. Coming on to the other side. Okay, then from there, now we're going to come into the inside of the knee. So for this, you're going to just bring the roller out the inside into that position slightly, and you're going to be rolling that inside of the leg. And we'll do 10 on each side here as well. And then I'll be swapping sides. Okay, so done with the foam roller, and then lastly we're just going to do a little bit trigger pointing in the glutes. Okay, so for this, you're just going to do 30 seconds on each side, and your aim is just to sort of find those tight areas in the glute and just work into them with the pressure of your body. Okay, so in order to do that, you're going to be up and across in that position there. You can place the ball underneath the glute. Your hands and your foot are going to be supporting as much weight or as little weight as you want, so find that comfort point for you. It's not going to be the most comfortable thing in the world, but it doesn't want to be painful either. So if it's really, really painful, then obviously reduce the pressure. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to work through the glute and just working through the different areas and finding sort of pressure points, and you can just hold it there for a second. There you go, I've got a trigger point there, and just moving it around. We're not going to do too much of this because this is all for, to try and squeeze in prior to the training session. And then you can come up quite high towards the hip in that position there. Okay, I'll swap sides. Coming onto this side. So again, just working around the glute area, finding trigger points if you have any areas that need any special attention. I've got one there. So just work into that, let it relax a little bit. Deep breathing as well. So if you find any of those trigger points, you can just deep breathe into them and it will help to relax the muscle. There we go. Okay, that'll do it. So that is the entire warm-up and mobility and activation drill complete. Now go have a great session.